What's up, guys? Welcome to video 2, count them, 1, 2, of my YouTube channel. But today we're going to be talking about something that's very near and dear to my heart. Reptiles, more specifically, snakes. Now, one of the things that I guess new snake owners probably run into every once in a while when they first get a new snake is learning about it. Maybe they dove into it without really knowing a whole lot about snakes or a whole lot about snake behavior. But today, I'm going to try to clear some of that up for you. Now, if you want to dive deeper into that, I would recommend a channel like Snake Discovery with Emily or Go Herping. They're really, really good YouTube channels. I learn a lot from them, but I am here to pass my information along to you. So, to do that, I would need to have a snake in my hand because there wouldn't be much of a point of me telling you about snakes if I don't have a snake in my hand to explain some of the behavior of young or juvenile snakes. So, it's about time that I go ahead and grab one of my snakes. Okay, guys, so this is Con. This is my Tessera corn snake. He is super young, but he is actually kind of thick. He's a little bit thicker than the other snake that I'll be grabbing today. But the reason why I grabbed Con first was to kind of display how there's different personalities in snakes. And when I grab the other one, you'll understand what I mean. Con is very docile. He does not mind being handled at all whatsoever. He frequently explores. He will kind of get into your shirt. But one of the things that a lot of people run into when they're thinking about getting a snake or they have a snake is worrying about whether or not the snake's going to bite you. A corn, probably not ever. If it is, it's not going to do anything to you. The thing that you have to remember at the end of the day is that a snake, regardless of really, I guess, what kind of snake you get, I mean, unless you're like getting into the venomous and, you know, really big snake range, but a regular snake like a ball python or a corn snake or anything like that, they're not going to be able to eat you, right? So it shouldn't scare you. If it can't eat you, it shouldn't scare you. Now, if I was holding, or if I had like a gator in this room, I'd be a little bit nervous because it could eat me, you know? Or if I had something like an anaconda, then I'd be like, there's probably a better way to go about this. But when it comes to snakes like these, they're more scared of you than you are of them. They see something with a really big heat signature, or they sense something, I should say, with a big heat signature, and they understand that whatever's holding them is really big. And sometimes when you first go to grab a young snake or anything like that, their first instinct is to shudder away. They're going to try to get away as fast as they can. The only reason that is because they think, they're under the impression that something big just grabbed them, they're going to try to eat me. That's what the snake's kind of impression of it is. So with that being said, you have to first calm yourself before you go and handle your snake if you just got it. So you have to make sure that you are calm before you can expect them to be calm. They're not going to be calm if you're jittery or you're shaky or you're nervous about grabbing them. When you go to grab them out of their enclosures, make sure that you grab quickly. You don't take a long time or, don't do that. Because that's going to wig them out, and they're either going to rear up and try to maybe hiss at you, or like corn snakes do, they'll rattle their tail when they're a little bit irritated, or they'll get a little bit jumpy. But it all depends on your personality and how composed you are in the situation. That's the most important thing when you're handling any kind of snake or any kind of reptile, period, is how you are, how you're feeling, what your emotions are like. If you're scared, they're going to be scared. So yeah, you have different morphs of corn snakes, which is why I like corn snakes a lot. He's a Tessera. The other one that I'm going to grab is a blood red stripe. It was kind of hard to tell what he was because I don't even think the people that had him knew what he was. But either way, I'm pretty sure he's a blood red stripe. But if you look at if you look at Tessera's, they have this beautiful patterning along the sides, and you can see that right there, just really beautiful patterning, and he just stopped moving. Really, really nice pattern that they have like alongside their bodies here. It's a really, really cute kind of thing. And then there's his little head, and there's his little head, and he's a little sweetheart. Khan is just kind of like, I would say, if anybody was going to get a snake for their first time, I would want their personality to be like Khan, because he's very vibrant. When he goes through a shed, when he first comes out, the colors just pop. But he has a really, really good attitude, and he's not really worried about much of anything. Now, the difference that I'm going to get is Caligula. Caligula is a lot different than Khan. So I will grab him, and we'll talk a little bit about Caligula. Now this, everybody, is Caligula. I'm going to try to get him real up close to the camera. Oh, I think he saw himself. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yes, but this is Caligula. You can see he's visually much, much smaller than Khan is. And his attitude is a whole lot different. If you look, he's actually kind of constricting around my finger right now. But he's very skittish. He doesn't really like a whole lot of people holding him. He's very comfortable with me at this point, but that's just due to daily handling and things like that. But originally, when I first got him, he would strike, he would hiss, or not hiss, but he would strike, he would get angry, he would, kind of flare up and poke at you and stuff like that. And it just took a little bit of time. But this is something that sometimes deters people from handling their snake. They get to a point of being like, oh my God, this snake's really angry, or the snake's really mad. Well, he's not mad and he's not angry or anything like that. He just wants you to leave him alone. Unfortunately, you need to be able to handle your snake frequently when it comes to cleaning their enclosures. And I'll actually put a little bit of a video of what their enclosures look like so you can see it. His is very messy. Caligula's is very messy because he spends a lot of time burrowing through his stuff. He wants to be underneath everything. Even when he's actually in one of his main hides, he actually gets underneath the bedding and kind of sits there. And there's a funny story about Caligula. When I first got him, I actually lost him for like a week. And I had to remember something that Emily from Snake Discovery said. And she said, anybody that says that they've never lost a snake is either lying or they've never owned one. It was something like that. So it was kind of like my rite of passage to lose him on like the third day. Like the third day he was gone. And then I realized that I needed to do a better job with his enclosure and making sure that the lid was very tight. So I made sure that I got screen clips and things like that to make sure that he couldn't do it. But then I kind of noticed something else, and I was like, you know what? Maybe there needs to be more for him to do. And you can see how skittish he is. Like you can touch him and he's crazy. But I was like, you know what? I need to make sure that there's a lot of stuff inside of his enclosure to make sure that there's stuff for him to do. There's stuff for him to climb around. So he's always having something to do, and he never gets bored, because usually if a snake gets bored, that's when they get kind of frantic and skittish and things like that. And I didn't want him to be that way. So I went to the store. Actually, I went to the store where I got him, and I just bought a bunch of stuff. Just a bunch of stuff for him to go through, a bunch of clutter, so he could climb over stuff, he could go through stuff, he could sit inside of a pipe, he could crawl across stuff, go up and down and things like that. And it seemed to calm him down a lot more. And that's one of the things I would say, if you have a snake that's maybe a little bit jumpy or maybe like stir crazy, you should try to make sure that there's enough stuff in their enclosure so they're always doing something. And if they decide that they want to move around and they want to explore, they have a whole bunch of things to explore with, which is the main reason why I grabbed these two baby snakes today, was because I wanted to show you guys some of the differences between baby snakes. Caligula, you always have to keep your hands moving. You're always going to have to keep your hands moving because he's always going to want to keep going. Khan, you can kind of hold him in one hand and he kind of just does his own little thing. But Caligula, he's very skittish, he's very jumpy, so you have to be very careful. The other thing that's really good about corn snakes is that they're really good eaters. So you really shouldn't run into much of a problem with your corn snake eating anyways. Like some ball pythons. Ball pythons have some trouble being like picky eaters and things like that. Corns don't really eat anything. If it smells like mice, it'll get you. I always do frozen thawed with these guys. He's on pinkies and Con is on fuzzies right now. And they both eat really, really well. And I try to make sure that they don't get anything like bedding on their food. I feed them inside of their enclosure. I'm not a person that's going to take them out of their enclosure to eat because there's no reason to. Some people do that because they think that they develop a feeding response to every time you're going to open the cage or open the lid and think that they're going to get bit because the snake has a feeding response. Well, you make that feeding response. You're the one that's manufacturing that, right? When you think about it, it's not the snake, it's the owner, it's the person taking care of the snake. If I only opened it to feed him, then he's going to understand that anytime I show up and anytime that cage lid goes up, that he's going to get fed, right? So you have to be able to break that and take them out daily, except for after they eat. You usually wait about 20, I think it's like 36 to 48 hours, and usually I wait 2 days just to be completely clear before I handle them again, unless I feel the need that I need to check on them or something like that just to make sure that they're doing okay. But you're the one that manufactures that response. You're the one that has to make sure that they understand that you're going to handle them, whether they like it or not. Mainly because you don't want to have a pet snake for, I don't know, these guys live, I think, somewhere around like 17 or 18 years or something like that. You don't want to have a snake that you're going to have to be worried about every time you open the thing, because as small as they are right now, they do get bigger, okay? So when they get bigger, you don't want them to think that all they have to do is strike at you to get you to go away. You don't want that. You want to manufacture from a young age that you're going to handle them, you're the one taking care of them, they have nothing to worry about with you, and that you have nothing to worry about with them because they really can't do much to you anyways. So yeah, I really wanted to put a video together for my 2 baby snakes to kind of help you guys along with maybe if you're having some trouble with your snakes. If you have questions, concerns, or feel free to just comment below, just hit that button, like and subscribe. I'll be doing videos about everything. Here's the thing, guys. I'm not your typical YouTuber. I don't have one particular thing that I do. I do tons of things. So it might be traveling videos. It might be reptile and snake videos. It might be voiceover videos. It'll be a ton of different things. So always turn those notifications on. If you have a friend that you'd like to share this with, or if you have things that you'd like me to cover, just comment below, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.